Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Grab a six pack, sit back and prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast. Sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to the back of the back of the grab a six pack, sit back to prepare to laugh. It's Drunk Dashers podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 218 of the Drunk Dashers podcast. I'm your host, as always, Tyler, and joining me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'm doing pretty good, Tyler. Just chilling, relaxing, and just enjoying my Saturday evening. How about you, man?
Doing the same. A little hungover, as is tradition.
Already?
Yeah. Went out for a coworker's birthday yesterday, and we hung out for a few hours, but went a little hard there for a few hours. So, feeling the effects today. Getting old, you know. Can't drink like we used to.
So what kind of coworker here? Male, female?
Male. He's one of them.
Okay.
He's a buddy of mine. I've gone out and drinking with him before. Every time I've hung out with him and drank with him, I got a hangover. So, 3 for 3 on those. Yeah, it was fun though. Other than that, but yeah, kind of ruined my Saturday a little bit. But it's whatever. Got to take on chin a little bit here and there. But doing all right. You know, fun week. A lot of cool shit going on right now for entertainment wise. Summertime, so might be a lot of games coming out, but movie and television wise, it's pretty good. But anyways, this is a video game show. We're gonna talk about video games. We're actually gonna go with the news first. I'm gonna mix it up a little bit, throw a curveball.
Let's do it.
So a couple big things happened. Really, like 2 betas were announced this week for 2 pretty big games coming out here soon. First off, we'll go with one that was talked about first. Destiny 2. They announced that there would be about around E3 that there was going to be a beta this summer. Well, we finally got the details on it. It's going to start, if you pre-order the game on PS4, it'll start for you on Tuesday, July 18th. If you pre-order on Xbox One, it starts on July 19th. If you don't pre-order at all, it starts on July 21st. And all of this runs to July 23rd. So if you don't pre-order it, it becomes open. You got the whole weekend. If not, if you pre-order the game, you basically get a week with it. And little trivia thing, not really trivia thing. Fun fact for people to do is if you want to get in this beta early, you can just go to like Amazon or like a Best Buy or somewhere and pre-order it without putting any money down, and they'll email you a code, and then you put that code in, and then you can play the game for free, and then you can just cancel your pre-order if you don't want to play it. So. That's what I did last time with Destiny, beta and the alpha, and I'm sure a lot of people are gonna do that again this time. That's what I'm gonna do. So then also there will be a beta for the PC. It's gonna be in August though, because I don't think it's coming out day and date with the consoles. And some of the things you can do in the beta is there's gonna be a PvP mode where you can play 2 modes. One's like a domination style, and I believe the other one was like it's a new game mode that they have. It sounds like it's more of like a Overwatch type of mode where it's offense versus defense kind of thing. And then also there's going to be 1 strike available, and then also that opening story mission that was shown off at the Destiny event they had back in May, called Homecoming, where they attack the not the Crucible. What's the last city on Earth or whatever it is, and
I understand what you're talking about. It's pretty much that Citadel or something like that.
Essentially.
It's like the main hub of the game where you come and like get your missions and do stuff like that. You know.
Oh, God. So the first mission of the game though is like basically that shit gets blown the fuck up and destroyed. And so you're gonna play through that. You can play through that mission. So that's what's coming out to it. Like I said, starts July 18th for the PS4 players that pre-order. You planning on checking this out?
Possibly. You know, I'm gonna be going to GameStop anyway on pretty much coming like next Friday and stuff. So I'll see what I can do.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna check it. I mean, I will check it out for sure. I'm gonna do the whole pre-order thing just to get the code and play it. Because otherwise, if you don't, the beta starts the same day as Splatoon 2 comes out.
Oh shit!
And that shit ain't happening. Yeah, that shit ain't happening. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to check it out. You know, we've talked about Destiny a lot on this show. I'm curious to see what the big changes are. You're gonna be able to check out some of the new play types, the new powers and everything they have. So that could be pretty cool. I mean, or not. You know, it could be cool. I don't know. I'm hopeful for this game, and I'm curious to see any sort of big gameplay changes they make, and also this one they're kind of doubling down on the story and the characters in this, where they didn't do it in the last one at all. So if it kind of continues on from what we saw from the Taken King, and it builds upon that, I think this could be a solid foundation for a good game. So I think this game that's gonna be a very big week for them. Maybe not so much make or break, because I think this game's gonna do really well regardless of how this beta goes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to play it. I'm definitely curious to see the big changes out of it. So could be fun. But yeah, we can move on to the next one then. The other big thing came out. There was a Nintendo Direct this week for Splatoon 2. That game comes out, like I said, July 21st. So a lot of things they announced during the Direct. There's a lot of inside baseball stuff. They're talking about the weapons and some of the special moves you can do. If you guys are interested into that part, you can look into it. Also the gear and all that. But kind of the key things that came out of it was that they plan on doing free content for around a year.
Mm-hmm.
So new maps, gear, clothes, things like that. And then they're going to do Splatfest events for about 2 years. So the Splatfest things are kind of cool to do, so they're gonna do a Splatfest next Saturday. So it's gonna be an open demo for everybody from 3 to 7 Pacific time on July 15th, and they're gonna do ice cream versus cake. So basically, you pick a side, and you're gonna go online. You're gonna play people, and you'll be on. If you pick Team Ice Cream, which is the only team that really matters, then you're gonna play. You'll be always bundled up with people that are Team Ice Cream for that weekend. Usually it's a weekend long event, and you'll play against Team Cake. And at the end of it, they'll find out who has the most wins overall, and then usually get some bonuses and stuff for doing that. So they're gonna do events like that. Who knows how often they'll do them? I think they did about 15 or 16 for Splatoon, and about 2 years or so. They was it 2 years? About maybe like a year and a half or so. They did it for Splatoon 1. So maybe about one a month or so, at least for the first one. And then they also announced that the Nintendo Switch Online app will release with the game on July 21st. And that's going to be free download on your smartphone, smart devices. And that's what's going to allow you to talk to your friends online with the Splicer. And also you can send invites and do private game matches and lobbies through that. And also you can set up like play times, sounds like. And also we'll do you can do we'll do stat tracking in there. So keep track of how much ink you sprayed down and the wins and losses. And you'll be able to buy gears and weapons on the app too. So if you're at work, it's like, oh, I want that, because I think every day the shops change what you can buy, guns and clothes wise. So you can go in there and on the app and look every day. That way you have to boot up the game. You can just buy your stuff. Next time you boot up the game, bam, you got it. So you don't have to worry about any of that. Then they announced that there's going to be a rank mode. This one will actually come out day and date with the game, where I think rank mode came out a little bit later after Splatoon 1 came out. And there'll be 3 game modes. They will rotate every 2 hours. There'll be tower control, which is kind of like an escort the payload type of thing, which is like an Overwatch. But you're actually going to be on offense and defense, so it's not just one side defending at all times. There's going to be a tower, and you like the name says, you're going to try to control the tower. And whoever has control of it the longest, it'll slowly start to move towards your base. And whoever gets to your base first wins. Another mode called Rainmaker. It's kind of like capture the flag. And splat zones, which is kind of like there's certain areas you got to control. And whoever puts their ink down first in that area wins that area. And it sounds like whoever gets the most areas in a certain amount of time, or gets the highest, gets to a score, the fastest wins. Next up, Salmon Run. They talked a little bit more about that. sounds like they haven't really said for sure, but the wording makes it sound like it will not be available all times. So this will be a special event that'll pop up here and there. And then so far they've only announced, and there's no confirmation, 4 maps at launch, and they will do the 2-hour rotation on all game modes and maps. So that's the thing they're going to be doing still from Splatoon 1, which I believe they were 4-hour rotation. So slightly better, but still doing them. Coming on the Direct, what are your thoughts on Splatoon 2?
Overly positive. I didn't really see too many negatives inside the Splatoon 2 Direct. Regardless of what they were going to show, I was going to at least going to try to buy it, play it. I really loved the first Splatoon. Seeing a lot of this past week's Direct doesn't really change a lot of what I feel that I'm about the game, because I feel like I'm going to enjoy it. Going there, seeing how robust the single player is, going forth and seeing the new character designs, the new type of shops and stuff like that. I mean, I absolutely just love a lot of the character designs in Splatoon in general, and seeing new characters introduced and stuff like that to replace, say, like Callie and Marie from the first game, and then going forth and seeing a lot of the different type of weapon outlooks and all this and all that. I got to admit, though, I do like the implementation of what they're trying to do with their specialized app and stuff. It's pretty much like an experimental sort of app that they are putting out. It's going to be available up until the rest of the year and stuff before they have their official app that they're going to be releasing, I guess. But I think when it comes to the Salmon Run stuff, I mean, online, it's pretty much going to be a specific time each day, I think, from what I've come to understand. And I think you could do the Salmon Run stuff offline too.
Yeah, but it's it's not it's 2 to 4 player only offline.
Yeah,
so you'll have to do couch co-op to play the game mode. So.
Well, yeah, that means if, say, you got a couple friends or something like that, if you want to do that, then that's fine, though. But for the average person who just, say, like myself, who just usually plays games by themselves and stuff, I would have to schedule some sort of time with somebody to try to play that mode. And what's kind of interesting is that mode in general, you earn a lot of different types of gear, specialized type of gear, in fact. If you'd play it a ton, but yeah, overall, other than say the limited online stuff for Salmon Run, and of course the whole switching the freaking online courses and stuff for every couple hours like they sort of did with the first game, I mean, I really felt like the directed overall was overly positive, hit on a lot of good points, definitely was a little bit more than I thought they were going to unveil, obviously. But with the game being close to around 2 weeks out as of this point, I mean, hell, I'm ready to play some Splatoon 2.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as far as, I'm excited to play the game. I love the first Splatoon game. I still hate about everything they do with the online portion of it. I'm not a big fan of the app portion, but I'm happy there's at least going to be an option to talk to people. So that they're not, that's not gone, or that's at least an opportunity. I'll have the opportunity to do it. The whole rotation shit sucks. I hate that. That's a big turnoff for me. In the first game was I'm gonna sit down and play Splatoon, and then you sit there and you play 7-8 games. I remember talking about it on the show back when the first one came out. It's I played the same map 7 times in a row, and that was it just gets frustrating. And there's only one game mode. The game modes are split up. So if you're just doing regular unranked mode, Turf War is the only game option you have. If you want to do ranked mode, they have those 3 game options, those 3 different game modes, but they rotate too. So along with the map. So I hate the fact that I'm working on their schedule. And even when the new content did come out, when the new maps came out, I remember going in oh cool, new map come out, I'm going to check it out. It's oh it's not on the rotation. So
I know that's the biggest pain in the ass about that.
Yeah. So that's just a big turnoff to me. I think that's a big reason why I didn't play more of that. I still put a lot of time into the online. I got to level 20 in the first few weeks, but I just didn't go back to after that because that portion is frustrating. And I mean, there could be more maps. But they won't so far have only showed off 4. that's not really a lot for a game you're pushing for the online portion, on top of everything else with it. And the biggest thing, coming out of it, the biggest thing to me that really upset me was a salmon run not being available at all times. It's just because, like, if you and me want to hop in and play a game, or if you, me, and a couple other people want to hop in and play a game, it's like we want to go in and do the thing that's fun to us. Let's go do ranked. Oh, we don't like tower control. We like Rainmaker. Oh, well, I guess we can try again in 2 hours, and hopefully it's Rainmaker and not Splat Zone. Oh, you guys want to do salmon run? Oh, it's only from 2 to 6 today. It's 6:15. We just missed it. Try again tomorrow. It's just it's difficult enough scheduling people, like getting friends together even online to play games sometimes. But now we got to work around a schedule for the game to play online. That whole thing is just irritating to me, and especially
I hate that.
Yeah, it's to me, it's not like I've heard people say, well, a lot of other games do special events like Splatfest. That's a cool special event. I get that. That's something they advertise as events. But people are saying, for a lot of podcasts and people online saying about, well, it's gonna be a special event kind of thing. But my problem is that they advertise it. This is a big thing they advertised a few months ago, and they've been advertising it a lot. Every time they talk about this game, they talk about Salmon Run. They never once said it was an event. They have been advertising this as a new game mode you can play. And it seemed like something you could do whenever. And this is one of the things I was most excited about for this game was Salmon Run, the Horde mode, essentially. And come to find out, it's not going to be available online, but you can play it offline. But it's like, but you gotta have two. You can't do single player for it. That shit sucks. And it's a game that's really fun to play, doesn't have a whole lot of content, but the game's fun to play. You can play through. You don't mind doing these things. It just hinders the game even more for me. So that's a lot of stuff that it's overall. I'm really gonna enjoy Splatoon 2, but it's just the ideas they do for the online. I hate all of them. They just make it harder for, I think, a lot of gamers, and harder for themselves unnecessarily, for that. And I'd almost wish this game would have a season pass too, like a $20 season pass where it offered more maps and things like that. Like have the gear and the weapons for free and everything. But like, hey, you want more maps? Like $20 here, we'll give you 12 free maps. We'll give you 4 at a time every like 2 months or 3 months or whatever. We're going to support this game with a lot more content for a year. Like I want a reason to keep coming back to this game more than just one map at a time. And maybe if I'm lucky, it's in the rotation. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of the rotation, give me way more maps. I'll pay an additional $20 for something like that. I don't know about everybody else. I understand you don't want to split the audience too much, but I want more content. I want a reason to keep going back to this game at more than just a few weeks down the line.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean by that, man. It's like, I absolutely hate the idea of being restricted in general and while playing certain, like, online games. I mean, hell, I know that there are special events for some games, and yet you're going to miss them anyway because you either work or family or other types of obligations that you need to do. But in this case and scenario, you are right, Tyler, in terms of Nintendo advertising the Salmon Run as one of their main features for this online stuff. Finding out that it's only available within a certain hour time frame is an absolute turnoff for a lot of people, especially if you're a night worker or something, and then you have to sleep and have to go through the whole rigmarole of going through and working maybe around I don't know, 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. I'm just naming just little specific examples. The overall thing I'm trying to get is it fucking sucks how restricting Nintendo is with Splatoon 2's multiplayer stuff. I hate the aspect that there's courses that switch every couple hours. I hate the fact that there's only a specific time frame for the Salmon Run stuff. Maybe one of the features that I probably would have enjoyed the most, but I can't because hell, maybe I only can game in the mornings before work or something like that.
Yeah.
And I can't do anything else. And it's that's just something they got to address sooner or later with this shit.
Yeah.
Because if they are going to try to do competitive stuff, say with Splatoon 2 and stuff like that, they got to allow for more, lenience in terms of what's available, when people can play it and stuff, because all this seems like everything's scheduled sort of like a freaking almost like an afternoon after a kid gets off of school, for God's sake.
Yeah.
That's basically what the Salmon Run thing's scheduled for.
Yeah, true. And, yeah, I don't know, it's frustrating, especially when we're looking at, like, we're going to start charging for the online portion. Like, you look at, this is going to be the fourth big game Nintendo's released for the Switch. Mario Kart, ARMS, Splatoon 2, and Zelda. 3 of the 4 are online-focused games. Yep. And they need to do, I think, a better job with that. And this is another reason I think it's $20 a year, but this needs to be better. And they need to give us more reasons to jump in to these. So, I don't know. I think maybe they'll, if we get enough, I said this last time with Splatoon 1, so maybe it probably won't happen, but I'm hopeful with when maybe the more, after a year when all the maps and everything are out there, maybe they'll get rid of the rotation. I don't know how many maps there's going to be by the time this is over. But I figure if you get down to, like, you get it up to 8 or 10 maps by the end of it, that's a good enough set of maps where you can get rid of the rotation, and you can, I can keep playing this game over and over again before I see the same map 2 times in a row. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm being mostly negative about it, but I'm still gonna like this game a lot. But it's just frustrating. They're basically forcing us to play the game the way they want us to play the game, and I'm not necessarily a fan of that. But yeah, we'll see. Who knows? Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it's gonna be a good game. I know that. Pretty positive about it. So I haven't played it, but I'm pretty positive about it. But let's go ahead and jump into. Actually, you know what? There's a topic in here we didn't get to last week, and I want to get to it. It's not really so much a topic, but we were talking about the SNES Classic.
Yes.
And I was hoping Justin would be here for this one, but I was thinking, so they're probably gonna do like an N64 Classic kind of thing.
It's kind of like almost an inevitability, right? Either that or a Game Boy.
Yeah, I imagine we're gonna get one or both of these eventually. But I was thinking about it. Let's just say Nintendo grabbed us, threw us in a room, and said, "You guys are gonna pick 15 games that are gonna be in the N64 Classic, and we got to agree on all 15. What would they be? Should we get rid of the obviouses first?
Well, let's go ahead. You name one, I name one.
All right, so Mario 64, that's an obvious, right?
Oh, no shit. That's definitely an obvious one. But also, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yep, Ocarina of Time, yep.
That's an obvious one, okay. Next.
Mario Kart?
Oh, yeah, definitely Mario Kart 64. It's one of the key multiplayer games there.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, I could probably say... Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
That's definitely a given. I mean, give or take, if you're going to have, like, Zelda games on there, you're basically going to have the only 2.
Yeah.
That's,
I mean, the NES Classic had both Zelda games, Zelda 1 and 2 on it, so...
Yeah, exactly. And the Super NES Classic here has A Link to the Past, so of course, like with the N64 Classic, if you're going to put 15, you're definitely not going to have a lot of options for, say, the more obvious ones, say like a Banjo-Kazooie or like this or that, because Rare owns it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. GoldenEye?
Well, let's see. GoldenEye 007, that's going to be a little bit of a stretch, to be perfectly honest. It's an obvious inclusion because of its importance, but much like... You know what? Much like it's the licensing stuff back in the day and stuff, I don't really see the original GoldenEye making it on an N64 Classic because of licensing, bond issues, and stuff like that, plus...
well, I'm just putting, like, licensing apart. Like... We're just looking at the key 15 games for the 64.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is with that generation, PS1, 64 era, a lot of those games don't hold up well now, graphically and gameplay style. So I think that's gonna be a tough sell for certain games. So yeah, go ahead.
It's like what I say. I think GoldenEye would be a hard sell on an N64 Classic because of how outdated the control style is, how outdated the way it looks, and because we gotta look at it this way. This was pretty much the first console, first-person shooter that you could play co-op that was absolutely like probably good at its time, but you try playing this type of game now with just using the C buttons in terms of moving around and strafing and doing this shit, it plays like it just does not play too well, in my personal opinion.
Okay, we can scratch that one then. I'm fine with scratching it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. You go ahead and make the next one.
Okay, the next one I feel is kind of a no-brainer. We got to have some form of a Mario Party game in here. So,
okay.
If I had to pick, if say we could only put like one Mario Party game in there, I would go with Mario Party 2.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah, it's the last great Mario Party game that Hudson Soft actually was included before they went off. Nintendo did their own thing. So Mario Party 2, great game, obvious sort of, in my opinion, inclusion into it. Like, what would you think for this one?
I agree. I think there's got to be one on there. I didn't really jump into it until Mario Party 4, but I've heard nothing but good things about 2. So I won't argue with you on that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, too bad you got rid of your Wii U and stuff like that. You could have been playing Mario Party 2.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, Smash Brothers?
Yep.
Okay.
That's definitely an obvious one right there. I mean, fuck. 4-player co-op.
Yeah.
First Smash Brothers, like, it's definitely fun to play even today. And even though it may not, like, look the best and stuff, the graphics, everything else still holds up.
Yeah, the game's still fun to play. It's bare bones, but it's still a good game. So I played it, I think, a few years ago, and it was still fun. So, yeah.
Okay, so basically what we got right now, we got Mario 64, we got Mario Kart 64, we got Super Smash Brothers, we got both Zelda games, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, and we got Mario Party 2,
yep.
I would want to say. So that's pretty much like, what, 6?
We're at 6, yep.
We're at 6 right at the moment. I am delving deep here. It's kind of hard at the moment because it's like, when I think of the N64, I think of not only just the first-party games, but because Rare was so big, it's because I want to say games like Banjo-Kazooie or Banjo-Tooie, but I don't believe they would absolutely make it on. So instead, I would go with a little bit more of one that Rare did produce, but has been approved to actually release on Nintendo consoles, so I think Donkey Kong 64 has a legitimate shot at being on an N64 Classic.
I think it would be just because it's a first-party title. I don't know if a lot of people would consider it one of like the 15 best, but
no,
I think
definitely not.
It makes sense. It's Donkey Kong, so I agree. I won't argue with that one. I didn't care for it back in the day. I know a lot of people didn't, but it makes sense.
Well, man, wouldn't that be awesome or something like that if they got the licensing stuff to release like a WWF game or something on that device?
Yeah, like a Warzone or No Mercy.
No Mercy.
Buddy.
No doubt in my mind. It's like if you have to include a third-party game, absolutely go out and see who. I wonder who owns the rights to fucking like.
Was that Acclaim or is that THQ?
No. THQ had that and stuff like that, but the corporation or something like that had the engine for the game was the Aki Corporation, and that was bought out by EA.
Okay.
So they may have to, if Nintendo were to get, like, say, a No Mercy on their N64 Classic, not only would they have to reach out to EA, but they would have to reach out to the WWF or WWE as well, because they want to use this along with some of the older things. Of course, something would have to be censored because there are wrestlers there that... well, one of them's like a murderer, so
yeah.
Let's just say, that if I'm not too sure if they do that or something like that, it's gonna be one of the key games. So it's gonna be either No Mercy or WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah, I don't think they'll ever make it on just because not only do you have to get WWE license, you got to license every single person in the game too, and a lot of those people are dead.
All right, so that definitely probably is not going to happen. It probably would not be on the list at all.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I said mine, but...
What about the greatest 64 game of all time?
And what's that?
Pokemon Snap.
Oh, yes. Yes,
okay.
That does have a good shot. That actually has a better shot than, say, Pokemon Stadium 1 or 2.
I was thinking about those. I think it has a better shot than Mario 64, but that's just me.
Really? You would think so?
Well, it's Snap. Pokemon Snap is better than Mario 64.
Oh, come on, Tyler.
Come on. It is. If Justin was here, he would agree with me.
Well, of course Justin would agree with you. He likes any type of bizarre game, hence the whole Yarny stuff.
Yeah,
but still...
God, why are you bringing that shit up, man? Come on! God!
I'm just saying, Justin, he has his taste in games, and sometimes he could be a little bit bizarre
Well, no,
with his choices.
Don't do that, because you're comparing Pokemon Snap, that's a great game, to a bad game in Unraveled. Unraveled's a bad game, okay? Pokemon Snap is an all-time great game.
Well, yeah, Pokemon Snap is a great game. I mean, I played through it just recently within the last year or something like that, and it absolutely holds up well. Whether or not it's better than Mario 64, I mean, well, hell, I don't feel that way. I know you feel that way. Justin feels that way, but I believe it absolutely deserves to be on this.
With Justin, Mario 64 is one of Justin's all-time favorite games. So he's got bad taste in games. You can't save them all, Fucking Unravel, man, that hurt. That stung. That still stings.
Oh no, it still stings, dude. I'm trying to think of a good third-party game because you know what? There's a theme going around with their whole like classic release systems and stuff where they got some third-party games for the NES Classic. They're getting third-party games, like some of the best third-party games, honestly, for the Super Nintendo on there. So third-party games on the N64. That you know what? I could think of a couple, but I think possibly Beetle Adventure Racing.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Okay, so quintessentially, what this game is it's a racing game, right? But it's one of the best racing games outside of Mario Kart on the N64. You basically control this Volkswagen Beetle, right?
Oh,
so
boy.
Beetle Adventure Racing is it's a big old racing game where you get all different types of models like Volkswagen Beetles. You get to race and do this and do that and stuff like that. And it's surprisingly good, to be perfectly honest with you. But,
I don't know if we can. I'll table it for now. I'm not discarding it, but I can't go with you. We're only 8 games in. We got 7 more spots, games. And there's a few we're missing here. I think we can fill in some gaps before we get to there.
All right.
What about Tony Hawk Pro Skater?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. As a matter of fact, if we're going to put in one of the Tony Hawk games that were on 64, which there were 3 of them, we're going to put in the second one.
Okay. I can agree with that. The second one is superior.
Yes, it's superior. It is definitely superior to the first and the third in retrograde to the 64. I mean, hell, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 is better on the GameCube, the PS2, stuff like that.
Okay.
On the 64, no.
Okay, I agree with you on that part. All right, so we're in agreement there. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. So what do you got for me next?
Paper Mario.
Okay, yeah,
Paper Mario. Wow. It's one of the few RPGs that are on the 64, but it is one of the best RPGs. To be perfectly honest with you, so that's the thing. I love the idea of like having like a Paper Mario game on it. I mean, hell, if you have like Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars on the Super Nintendo Classic, then you're going to have the spiritual successor to that game on the 64 Classic as well.
Yeah. Star Fox 64?
Yes.
Okay.
So now we're up to 11.
Yes. So we're filling in quickly here. And there's there's still a few good ones we could throw in there, I think. So you go ahead, buddy.
I think so. Oh my gosh, now it's getting down to the nitty-gritty here.
I've had to pull up a list. I'm looking at a list now to help me.
Okay, you're pulling up a list, and I'm just going straight off to my head from what I've been playing here. Well, how about F-Zero X?
Ooh, okay. Okay, yeah, the last...
We need diversity, and that's a great racing game.
Okay, yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm in for that. I forgot there was an F-Zero game on the 64.
Oh, I know, because that's usually overshadowed by GX, which is on the GameCube.
Yeah, and yeah, Mario Kart as far as racing games go.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, what are we going to go do next?
We need 3 more.
3 more. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know, it's getting harder, isn't it?
It is. Like, cause, like, I mean, I think Banjo, Tooie, or Kazooie, one of those got to be on there, man.
Well, I don't know, because Rare owns that, and Microsoft has them on their fucking store.
You're right. Okay, you're right. You can't put that on there.
That's.
Ooh.
I know. What?
Wave Race 64. Is that too many racing
There you
games?
go.
Do we have too many? We're at 2 racing games on there right now.
No, we got. I think 3 racing games would be a good idea. I mean,
Okay.
if you're gonna go with like something like that, yeah, Wave Race definitely is a. It was a launch game along with the 64.
That was the other one that came out along Mario.
Yes, it was Super Mario 64, and it was Wave Race. And I believe there was another one too, but I'm not too sure if I really want Pilot Wings on the list.
No, let's not do that. So we're up to 13. We got 2 spots left.
Okay, we have 2 spots left, and I think it's pretty much like Universal. We're not naming any more like Rareware titles because, hell, Microsoft owns Banjo-Kazooie, so both the Banjo-Kazooie games are out. Conker's out. Diddy Kong Racing, possibly. I don't know. Oh my god, that's a hard one too because it's like, oh god damn it! Because the characters, most of them are owned by Microsoft.
Well, oh yeah, Diddy Kong. You're right. Yeah, because they got Rare games in there. Shit.
Let's see. All I can think of now are like some of the more niche type of games,
Well,
but
can I throw a few out there?
yeah,
I'm gonna throw some shit up against the wall and see what sticks here. We got Kirby 64, Yoshi's
Right.
Story, Turok, Resident Evil 2. Any of those tickling your fancy?
I could see Kirby 64 being on here.
Okay.
Why do I see it? Because it's like, it's one of the few games on the system that's a Kirby game, and there have been Kirby games included on the past couple ones, but this one, I know, I've played Kirby 64. I would rather have that than say Yoshi's Story because, oh god. I mean, Yoshi's Story isn't, like, terrible, but it's a mediocre Yoshi game, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, Kirby 64 would definitely, I feel, be on the list.
Okay.
Oh gosh, now we got like one more.
You got 1 spot left.
Is it your guess or my guess?
It's your guess, but I'm still looking just in case.
All right. So, among all these and stuff like that, we have named a bunch of first-party stuff, but yet we have not named a lot of third-party stuff here, other than Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
And Wave Race.
Well, Rave Race is a first-party title.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. No.
Yes.
Oh, damn. Well, this was kind of the beginning of when third-party fell off, so.
Okay. I have thought of one.
Okay.
And it is Ogre Battle 64.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
Well, have you ever heard of, like, say, the Ogre Battle games in general?
I think there was a couple on 360, wasn't there?
No, Ogre Battle is basically an Atlas sort of like turn-based sort of like RPG. They started off like on the Super Nintendo, like Ogre Battle, like for the Super Nintendo. They ported that to the PlayStation, and basically Ogre Battle 64 is like something like sort of like a sequel to the Super Nintendo version. They had it on the Virtual Console. They've had that. Well, let's see, they've had that. They've also had Sin and Punishment as well.
Oh, okay. I got one third party in mind.
Yeah.
I'm gonna I'll let you have the final pick. We can go with Ogre Battle if you want it. Bomberman 64.
I could see that.
I'm gonna let you decide. Because you're more of a 64 guy than I am, so.
God damn, that's true, too. You know, Bomberman 64, I mean, it has its cult following and stuff like that, but I never was too thrilled with it, so if I'm going to put a third-party game on there, I'm going to have something that people are going to want to play for hours on end. So, yeah, Ogre Battle 64, I feel, is a better fit than Bomberman.
Okay. All right. that will round our list in Ogre Battle 64. So we made our 15. So Nintendo, if you're listening, you can just fire at the guys that we're coming up with the list and just take ours. So to go through our 15, here we go. We got Mario 64, Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, Majora's Mask, Mario Party 2, Smash Brothers, Donkey Kong 64, the greatest game of all time, Pokemon Snap, Tony Hawk 2, Paper Mario, Star Fox 64, F-Zero X, Wave Race 64, Kirby 64, and Ogre Battle 64. So,
dude, if Nintendo actually does do that, I think it's going to be more close to that list.
yeah, I could definitely see at least 10 of those games making that list. Yeah.
I think it would be the only way I could see them remotely getting any of the Rare stuff if they were able to come to an agreement with Microsoft in order to use those games.
Yeah. I mean, they own the rights to GoldenEye, so I can see them putting it on there.
Yes.
I think a lot of people from that time era will be excited to play that game, and then
no doubt
they'll turn it on and play it, and they're like, "Oh, this game's bad." So I feel like that might be the one game that can pull people in from the biggest one for nostalgia's sake for people. But I think that's not a good game. So.
Oh, I know. I mean, this was kind of a hard list to come up with as opposed to the NES and the Super Nintendo because, for one, it's like there were so many good games that were on the 64 that were produced by Rare. Like, you had basically Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, you had Blast Corps, you had freaking, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Yeah, I was going to say Conker's, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, Conker's Bad Fur Day. You have Perfect Dark and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. That was basically a GoldenEye skin.
Well, basically, but...
Did we mention Mario Tennis?
We didn't mention Mario Tennis. I think Mario Tennis is probably going to get in over Kirby 64.
Probably. I have a feeling. I feel like some of those games were more hopeful than anything.
Oh, fuck! We forgot Mario Golf as well.
Oh, God!
Mario Kart is fucking better than some of those.
Oh, man. They could make a good 15 and 64 game list just based off of first-party games. Like, a Pokemon Stadium games, realistically, is probably going to be on there. Hopefully it's the second one.
Man.
Actually, you know what? I want the first one, and I want that Lickitung game in there. I want to play the Lickitung game again.
I know.
The best part about Pokemon Stadium was playing Pokemon Yellow on it and the mini games. It was way better than the actual game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no shit, And what was the whole appeal of the Pokemon Stadium games to begin with? Well, I'll tell you why. It's because you were able to plug in your fucking games cartridges into that little transfer pack so you could transfer the Pokemon you were playing on the go onto your TV screen and stuff like that. And so you could battle them like live in game against like other gym leaders, earn different types of Pokemon. I mean, I spent hours doing that with the original Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Stadium 2. Getting starters, getting like freaking like an extra Hitmonlee or a Hitmonchan or something in my red and blue.
Nice.
I mean, god damn, dude. It was definitely awesome.
Here's my question to you, though. You think they're going to make us buy the expansion pack separately, or that could come with it?
At this point, I really wish they would have an equivalent of something like that for Switch. I mean, god damn. They're going to make a main Pokemon game, obviously, but... Ugh.
I hope this thing, if they do make this thing, it better come with 4 controllers.
Oh, no shit, right?
2.
Would that be funny if, like, the controller ports are just, like, 2, like, classic controller ports?
Yeah, God. That'd be terrible.
Oh, well, we would like it. I mean, I would like it because I can actually get my brother a friggin' like N64 one with a little classic connection thanks to the Wii remote.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's cool. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was pretty fun.
We'll do that next year after they announce the N64 for GameCube. So.
Oh, my God.
Ooh, that GameCube one's going to be good. There's going to be some battles there.
No argument there. There are going to be some fucking battles over that.
We might have to make a good top 50 list or something for the GameCube.
Oh my god.
That's the only way we're gonna agree.
Oh, you know what would be really fucking funny if we got fucking Josh or something like that, like
oh boy, yeah.
old Yoshi Fed or something like that. Do some GameCube battles.
Yeah, make him pick a Metroid game.
Make him pick the best Metroid Prime game.
There we go. I'll be in for that.
Gosh.
Oh,
I know, that would be actually pretty enjoyable.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that. Let's jump into, actually, we haven't even talked about what we played this past week.
I know.
So we should probably do that.
Let's do it.
You and me, we played one game in common this past
Yep.
week. We both picked it up on day one.
Yeah.
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy.
Oh, man.
Where are you at in this game? I'm curious. Games, I guess.
Since buying the game at launch, I finally have gotten around to playing a little bit more of it. Just yesterday, I am past the first world, basically. So I'm respectively just going a little bit more further and stuff like that, but I really enjoyed myself playing today. You know, that's the thing about this game, you know? I mean, for every bit that people have been saying how hard the game is, I'm actually been rather enjoying how, like, the difficulty is pretty much balanced to where I am not being, like, overly frustrating. Like, overly frustrated at all. But, I've noticed, like, a few things about Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy and stuff. I mean, I really love the fact that whenever I don't die and stuff like that, I go through when I go through a level perfectly and I just get all boxes and the levels and stuff, Crash has different animations and stuff like that for when his jewel pops out.
Oh,
like
yeah.
One scene I had where just the big old jewel popped up in his hand. There was another one where he just basically fucking barfed out the emerald. But oh man, I gotta admit, you know, I never played the original Crash Bandicoot back in the day. I've played maybe a little bit of the original on the PSP when I had it. And yeah, that game was still, like, that was my first exposure to, say, Crash Bandicoot. I tracked down the third game, which I sadly no longer have, but the only reason why is because I had encountered a glitch near the end of the game where I could not progress unless I was using the Game Shark. So, from my gameplay so far with the Insane Trilogy, I'm still on Crash 1. I'm getting through the games, you know, progressively and stuff. I'm really too unsure if I want to go through Crash 2 and 3 after I beat the original right now. But I'll tell you what, I am not going for 100% completion. I am basically going... Oh my god, if I'm doing that, I'm going to literally spend another 60 hours for each fucking game. I kid you not. But I am basically going through... I want to go through the original Crash Bandicoot, see if I can beat that. But yeah, there are little improvements to this game that I've noticed since playing the older ones. For one, you know, Crash's jump animation is a little bit quicker than it was in the original one, and it's actually causing a little bit of frustration for other players online, but I actually kind of like the way that what the team and stuff did to improve some of the, like, level progression for stuff. Because I was going through a level today, like the last level of the first world and stuff, where I was basically dying because I kept on jumping over, or like I could not time some of my jumps correctly for going across, because all these pillars were like coming up everywhere with spikes and all this stuff, all these little like candle stuff were like shooting flames and all this shit and that shit. Basically, I died enough times to where they actually spawned a checkpoint in one of the crates that was a little bit, like, further ahead. So inside of a game developer's perspective and stuff like that, the last thing that they want you to do is to get overly frustrated and get rid of their game, right? And so, by progressively setting checkpoints and stuff further on to make the player progress, if they actually have lost enough lives to where they consider, oh, okay, let's automatically add this and stuff like that, I actually kind of felt that it was rather refreshing, because I'll tell you what, I've played enough games in my lifetime to where if I can't get through a specific level or if I can't find a different checkpoint and like I got to repeat it over like a level all over again from the beginning, I basically get angry and I don't play games like for months after that.
Yeah.
But what have your impressions been for Crash Bandicoot?
So I talked about a little bit last week where I was a big fan of Warped back in the day.
Yeah.
And I dabbled a little bit in the first one. I played Wrath of Cortex, the second one. So I jumped in. I played that first world all in one playthrough.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed that. And then I got to the second world, and it gets kind of funny there. So, like, I beat the first level in there, and it was fine. Second level got really tough all of a sudden, and it was way longer than all the other ones I played previously. I died probably 5-6 times, but I finally beat it. Then I played like 2 or 3 more levels and flew right through it. Those levels are short. And I got to this one level. And at this point, I had over 20 lives going into this one. And I lost all my lives in this one level. And then so I get a game over. And used to be, if you got a game over and Crash, you have to start that whole entire world over again. Well, now they don't have it. You can just keep where the level you're at. So that's nice. So I went back, played it again, lost some of my lives again. I probably lost 30 lives, spent over an hour playing this level.
Wow.
It was just I couldn't hit the jumps. Could not get the jumps right. Like I feel like I hit it. I feel like I'm getting the button presses down. I feel like I'm doing everything right. I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. Trying different things, trying to get a running start.
Okay, Tyler, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something right here. When you're playing this game, are you using the analog stick or are you using the D-pad?
I tried both. After about 15 deaths, I finally started using the D-pad, and it still did not do anything for me at all.
Because you know what? When this game originally released and stuff, it was basically just the D-pad that it was made for. You know, it's a 2D platformer, quintessentially.
Yeah.
That's been up-resed. So a lot of the edgings, a lot of the things that you have to do platform-wise and stuff, it really depends upon how you like tap that D-pad.
Yeah.
As good as that D-pad is, which for platforming, I kind of questioned the D-pad for the PlayStation controller, but go on ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just frustrating. I got to a point and I was just like, fuck it, and especially because I got really far into it and I was almost done with it. I could see the end in sight, and I ran out of lives again. And it's a long level. Like, there's 4 or 5 checkpoints in this level. And so I said, screw it. And I went on the Crash Bandicoot 2. And I got a few levels in, and I got same point again where the jumping is. I got to this one spot where it's this really long jump. And I kept doing the jump, and every time I just miss it. And I did the D-pad, I tried the analog stick, I tried different timings, running start, standing still, doing...
Well, let me ask you this question right there. Have you been looking at Crash's shadow when he jumps?
No.
Well, let me just hear me out on this one. When you're jumping and stuff like that, sometimes you see the character's like silhouette underneath like Crash Bandicoot and stuff. Mm-hmm. And what I figured out is like a lot of the issues with jumping and stuff that I had with him and stuff, I was basically not watching his shadow, and when his shadow got like enough to an edge, I'd actually jump and I would hit like some of the precise bits of the areas and stuff. Why don't you try that like a little bit later when you feel like you want to go back to playing a little bit of Crash if you wanted to?
Yeah, I might do that. I played it a lot that weekend, last weekend, and I did play a couple of levels of Warped. Yeah, I just got frustrated. I'm like, I gotta walk away because I'm gonna break something. So I don't think I've cussed that much in a game session in a very long time. So yeah, it was very frustrating.
That's an old school game for you.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been that angry playing a game. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you like Crash, I'm sure you'll like this, but man, it's a lot tougher. Like, I think it's harder now than when I was a kid, because I remember I beat Warped when I was a kid back, when I was 9-10 years old. I beat that game, and now I can't beat the first world of Crash Bandicoot 2. So
Tyler, it's like what I was saying before and stuff. They changed the animation for for how Crash jumped, because little thing to let be known here is the original assets for the original Crash Bandicoot were lost, and they had to remake that game from scratch.
That's true.
And so when they
part.
went with the jump animations, they made Crash's jump animation faster. So it's kind of harder to say precisely hit it unless you're looking at little details of how he's jumping.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that fact that it's basically a brand new game, brand new games. So yeah, I mean that makes sense. I guess maybe it's just they didn't nail it like Naughty Dog did back in the day, or
right,
could just be the game was a lot harder than we remember it. Who knows? But yeah, that's I don't know. I mean, I don't regret the purchase, but it definitely yeah, it's been a frustrating games to play. So I at least want to go back to Warped at first and play those ones. Play a good chunk of that and see if that's the one I really have nostalgia for. I want to know if it's legitimately a still a good game today, or if it is just in fact nostalgia. So
yeah.
Other than that, what else have you been playing though?
I've played one other game, and this was just out of randomness because I had a few dollars left up on a PSN card that I had. So I purchased this weird-ass game called I Am Bread. So quintessentially, this game was on sale for about $2 and something, and originally it was like $12.99 this game. So I got it upon the mid-year sale for PlayStation Store. So when I pretty much started playing the game, the first thing that I noticed right away is definitely the controls. Let's just say this. I've played a ton of games. I have learned to adjust to certain control styles, learn how to do this and doing that. Hell, I pretty much dealt with a generation and stuff where I was using C buttons instead of like a right analog stick for looking at stuff here and there. But let's just say I Am Bread probably has one of the more harder gameplay learning curves that I have played in the game in recent memory. Why? Is because you're basically using the shoulder buttons to move a piece of bread, right? And the whole core concept of this game is you are a piece of bread that has to get itself toasted. You have to reach all the way across this whole terrain, and while you're doing this and stuff, this guy, you are in an apartment of this random dude, this house actually of this random dude who just got off of a bad business deal. And as you progress through the game, this dude gets put through like a psychiatric ward. He's basically being called crazy because he thinks a loaf of bread is out to get him, because every time he comes back after you complete each level, he finds his house all disarrayed because and all the thing that's left is a piece of toast that managed to drive itself over and get itself heated right next to a heat source. So my first experience with the game is I could not go a few minutes without dropping onto the floor, and then subsequently going through and losing a lot of the edibility, because there are a few meters with this. You have a gripping meter, which depletes every time you are hanging upon a specific object or this or that. You have an edibility meter, which means you cannot be on certain surfaces for long periods of time, because if it depletes to zero, you basically fail the freaking mission, and you have to restart all over again. So the one thing about this game that I did like is, after enough times that I did pretty much fail for these missions and stuff, it allows you to have an option to where you get this marmalade, right? And basically it just makes you invincible. So all you have to do is just crawl everywhere, navigate to find a heat source in order to get yourself toasted. Well, even when you have the marmalade, it's still a hell of a time trying to find what type of heat sources that you have to manipulate. And my god, this thing is fucking tricky. I'm climbing up walls. I basically have to hold like a certain cluster of shoulder buttons. So, and the bad part about it is the controls for what button you have to press for what side of the bread changes every time you flip or reorientate and stuff like that. So basically, the 4 shoulder buttons on top of your controller represents the 4 sides of a piece of bread. And it inverts. Well, yeah, it sounds amazing, right? But it inverts every time that you get flipped over or you're on a different surface or something like that. And it becomes fucking frustrating very quick. So, inside my playthrough, I went through around, what was it, like 7 days? 7 days you have to basically go all in a row, right? And so the purpose of it is to try to find a heat source to get yourself toasted and do this and do that. So it is organized like a Monday through Friday sort of thing, like a calendar day stuff, the whole story missions. And also, when you're done going through the story missions and stuff like that, there's options to say like a bagel race, where basically you control a bagel that's going through different checkpoints and stuff like that up until you reach the end goal, which I highly got frustrated because, like I said, you're controlling a bagel, and the turning radius on this bagel is shit. and basically here I am controlling a shit bagel going down this fucking corridor like it's like the kitchen trying to get to the end point of the plate. So you gotta beat time trials as a bagel for each course if you want to go through the bagel run. And at this point, I did not try any other of the extra modes because after I did beat this game, and I kid you not, I went through, I basically convinced myself, okay, you know what? This game has some entertainment value. I like how the story sort of progressed. I mean, it's pretty much like a 3 to 5 hour game, quintessentially, that I finished over the span of the week. But I did get some enjoyment out of the story mode. The controls, I still can't get used to the fucking controls. Like I said, it's a high learning curve for the control stuff. And overall, though, oh my gosh. I deleted it off my PS4 today. Because I basically have had enough for the time being. If I feel like I want to play it again, I will. But I'm not in any hurry. So, yeah, basically, that's pretty much what I've been playing.
Way more exciting than what I've been playing, probably. I talked about last week. I was playing BulletStorm full clip. I finished that up. Talked about enough last week, but yeah, still a really fun game. Sad it's over. It was a fun experience to go back and do that all over again. But yeah, it's cheap now. Buy it. It's fun, especially like Gears of War and a dumb story that with some few funny puns here and there.
Yeah.
Other than that, really, I haven't played much. Outside the Crash Bandicoot. I've been trying to find like that next game to play after that to fill that void.
Same.
Yeah, I played a little bit of Borderlands 2. I had that game forever, and I've been wanting to finish that up. I bought it on PS4 a couple years ago, and I'm kind of a little bit in that open world fatigue still. Not quite ready to jump into a big open world game.
That also, Tyler, you're basically playing by yourself in Borderlands 2, which if you're still starting out, it's still kind of like.
I got pretty far into the. I think I got about the halfway point of the story before I stopped.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not like starting from scratch. I'm just continuing off from my main thing I did a while ago.
Right.
What else? I played a little bit of Limelight. I talked about that like 4 or 5 months ago. I think 1 or 2 more worlds done now. It's a fun little puzzle game where you're following a light and trying to follow puzzles and without getting hit by the light. It's fun. I like it. Really cool music too. It's cheap. I think it's under $10. It's really about it. Nothing else stands out. And the shit ton of Madden. That's pretty much been my week of gaming. I haven't played it yet, but I do want to point out that there is a. People don't remember I talked about Little Nightmares a couple months ago. It's a 3D side scroller game. I think it's like $15 or $20. It is it's kind of like a Playdead's like Inside-esque kind of art style looking, and just kind of you just travel along the world. There's big creatures that are trying to kill you, and trying to solve puzzles as you go through this ship you're on. And there's no dialogue or anything. It's just you figure out the story and figure out what's going on while traversing through this boat. They have a I didn't know this was a thing, but there's actually DLC coming out for this game. It's three different pieces of DLC. They had a little trailer. I just found it because I saw a trailer for it on YouTube. There's part 1 came out I think just this past Friday, so yesterday, as of this recording. I think part 2 comes out, I want to say, in August or September, and then the other one comes out in like October, November, something like that. They're $4 a piece, or you can just buy a season pass for $10, so you save $2. So I went ahead and I bought the season pass. I really like Little Nightmares, and it's a different character and a different story and everything. I don't know if you're on the same boat or anything. Like I said, I haven't played it yet. But I liked Little Nightmares quite a bit when I played it a few months ago. So I'm glad. I'll be more happy to jump back into that universe. A really cool art style, and I hope it's just as good as the game. So I haven't played it yet, like I said, but I just want to point that out there for people that haven't that like Little Nightmares. There's more content out there, and if you haven't played it yet, check that game out. It's really cool. So yeah, that's kind of really it for me. Crash Bandicoot take up most of my time for as far as like new stuff to play. But I think it's gonna wrap up the show for the week. If you liked us, you can get a hold of us in other places. We're on Facebook. We have a page and group, Drunk Dash Nerds, on there. So like and join us. On Twitch, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. You can follow us on there. We do some live streaming here and there. And then on YouTube, we're Drunk Nerds Podcast. You can subscribe to us on there. The podcast goes up on there as well. You might know that because you might be listening to us on there. Like that video, please. If you're listening to us on iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Fill out a nice little comment, please. That does big things for us. Makes it so more people can see us, which we always like. And also on Twitter at Drunk Nerds Pod. So follow us on there. Those are the Facebook, YouTube, all those places are the best places to go to for when the show goes up. Those are you get a link or thing right away letting you know what's out there. So yeah, check us out in all those places. Leave good reviews and comments. Like us, please. It's all good for us. But I want to thank you guys for listening. I was your host. I was Tyler.
And I have been Colonel Gables, and until next week, everyone, peace out and play a whole bunch of games.
And don't get hungover, because it sucks. Ruins your day.
Alright, bye everyone.
Bye guys! Excuse me. Few too many beers there. Anyways, we're on iTunes now, so go on there, check us out, and if you like us, leave us a review, and we'll even shout you out. And Jack will send you his credit card number.